Could this be Arsenal's best chance, given certain key injuries that Manchester City have right now? Could this be Arsenal's best chance to put that stat right, at least for them? Have a listen to this little chat that we had on Football Forecast.
Because I don't want to engage in hyperbole right now. I don't want to do
it.
Engage.
But I'm going to. It's a must-win for Arsenal. And if you ask Arsenal fans right now what you want from the game on Sunday, you would take a stinker of a performance, an absolute stinker of a performance, but 3 points. This is an Arsenal team that are, in a positive way, very emotional. And we saw it in the Community Shield when Arsenal maybe didn't deserve to win that game, but got the win. And it meant so much. I think it stood you in good stead for the beginning of this season. I think Arsenal have had too many valiant performances against Man City at home. You think about the game 2 years ago where I think it was a Rodri last-minute winner. You think about the game last season where you lost 3-1 but you didn't really deserve to lose. I think Arsenal had too many of those performances against Man City where they've looked good but haven't got the result in the league. I think this is an opportunity to take a Man City team who've not looked amazing.
A Man City team that has not looked amazing. It's true, Rob, recently, we saw the results against Wolves. They have had to fight back as well in the Champions League, which we know Man City can do. But they are without a couple of big names. We'll get further in depth to that. But do you think from the Arsenal perspective, looking at this City team that has had some struggles by their standards, could this be Arsenal's best chance to beat them for the first time in the Premier League in 8 years?
I'm sure that they're thinking like that. Obviously, it's massive for Man City that Rodri won't play. He's the guy that holds everything together for City. So the fact that he's not going to play is huge for City, and Arsenal will know that. It'll be interesting to see how scarred Arsenal are from the game at the end of last season in April, because it was billed as this massive title head-to-head. Whoever won was going to go on and win the title, and City just blew them apart that day and won 4-1. So I'd be interested to see what kind of mental scars are left over from that game, and whether Arsenal approach the game and start on the front foot, or at least try to, because it's going to be very, very hard to kind of get that game out of their minds. But in terms of the players that are available, the stage of the season that we're at, I'm sure that Mikel Arteta will stand in front of his players on Sunday and tell them that this is a fantastic chance. If you are ever going to put down a title marker against City, now's the time to do it. There is no better chance. And the danger is on the flip side of that even with Rodri missing, even with players missing, that City go to the Emirates and win, everyone will say, well, Arsenal just aren't ready to challenge for the title. So, while it comes with a real positive, to put down their own performance and show that they are capable of doing it, the flip side is that if they don't win and they don't put in a great performance, that people will be asking the same questions about whether Arsenal are ready or not.
James, what do you think for Arsenal? Do you feel like this is their best chance to probably capitalise on some of the weaknesses that we have been seeing on Man City?
Well, I agree with Rob in the sense of, if City was to lose this, I don't think they would face the same number of questions that Arsenal would, because as we all know, they've been there and they've done it. They've won 5 of the last 6 leagues. They came back from a deficit last season. Nobody's really going to doubt their ability to be able to do it again if they, in recovering, if they lost on Sunday. What I would say is that Rodri has played more Premier League minutes for City last season than any other City player. He's absolutely integral to them. And when you think about Arsenal at their sort of fluid, free-flowing best, to not have a player who is so good at breaking up play, positionally so good, intelligent, and then De Bruyne as well, who is the guy who Rodri essentially passes the ball to then launch those counter-attacks or to get City playing. And De Bruyne was so good in both of those games last season, particularly the game that Rob mentions at the Etihad, when City went more direct. It was more De Bruyne to Haaland as almost a straight ball, and they could not deal with Haaland's physicality. I think that's why it's a massive, massive chance, for Arsenal. And also, you've got to factor in the fact that they've signed Declan Rice. Declan Rice was brought in partly because of his ability to give them more of a presence in the middle of the park. I don't know, but I wonder whether Rice and Thomas Partey may play some part in this and really try and beef up that midfield a little bit more to help give them that authority, or whether they go with Rice and an Odegaard and a Havertz, 2 more ball players to really try and dominate City with the ball, as opposed to trying to break up play without the ball. I think it's a fascinating element of that. But they were bullied in that game. at the Etihad. And I think what Declan Rice potentially gives them is a bit more of a chance to stand up to that if City choose to try and go direct at Haaland once again.